Oren's eyes widened in disbelief as he examined the unresponsive human encased within the impenetrable battle armor, shocked by the suit's ability to completely neutralize the Tok-Tak's most potent energy weapons. The brilliant Tok-Tak scientist had risked everything to secretly investigate the exotic technology, driven by an insatiable curiosity that overrode his deeply ingrained fear of the warmongering human race. As Oren meticulously studied the armor's intricate systems and advanced materials, he began to grasp the immense potential of human engineering. The suit's capacity to withstand the Tok-Tak's formidable arsenal could tip the scales of the interstellar war in humanity's favor, a realization that filled Oren with a mixture of awe and trepidation. However, the scientist's illicit research placed him in a precarious position. The rigid Tok-Tak monarchy strictly forbade any contact with the enemy, and the consequences of discovery weighed heavily on Oren's mind. Each moment spent analyzing the human technology was a dangerous gamble, a treacherous path that balanced his thirst for knowledge against the dire fate that awaited him if exposed. Unbeknownst to Oren, the human soldier within the armor, Caleb Russell, remained trapped and helpless, his life now inextricably linked to the scientist's daring actions. As the impending risk of discovery by Tok-Tak authorities loomed over them, the two unlikely allies found themselves forced to confront the profound differences between their species while forging an uneasy bond in their shared pursuit of understanding. The critical juncture set the stage for a thrilling narrative, one that would explore the clash of civilizations, the power of forbidden knowledge, and the potential for unexpected alliances to reshape the future of both human and Tok-Tak kind. In this high-stakes game of survival and discovery, Oren and Caleb would need to navigate a treacherous path, testing the limits of their ingenuity and resilience as they sought to unravel the secrets that could alter the course of the war and redefine the very nature of their existence. In the dim confines of his makeshift laboratory, Oren hunched over the inert human battle armor, his nimble fingers deftly maneuvering through a maze of intricate circuits and advanced alloys. The Tok-Tak scientist's eyes gleamed with a mixture of awe and willpower as he meticulously repaired the suit's damaged components, his mind racing with the possibilities that the exotic technology presented. As Oren worked, he marveled at the ingenuity of the human design, his admiration for their engineering prowess, growing with each passing moment. The suit's resilience and sophistication were unlike anything he had encountered in his years of research, a testament to the boundless potential of human innovation. With a final, delicate adjustment, Oren restored power to the armor's systems, the suit humming to life beneath his touch. A flood of data streamed across the holographic displays, granting the scientist unprecedented access to a wealth of human knowledge and history. Oren's heart raced as he pored over the information, his thirst for understanding temporarily overshadowing the ever-present risk of discovery. Inside the now-functioning armor, Caleb Russell stirred, his consciousness slowly returning as the suit's life support systems stabilized. As his eyes fluttered open, he found himself face-to-face with the alien scientist, a surge of wariness and confusion washing over him. Caleb's instincts screamed at him to lash out, to neutralize the potential threat, but something in Oren's demeanor gave him pause. The Tok-Tak's genuine fascination and reverence for the human technology were palpable, a stark contrast to the hostility and distrust that had long defined the interactions between their species. As Oren began to speak, his words carefully chosen and his tone permeated with a tentative hope, Caleb found himself drawn into an unexpected dialogue. In the shadows of the laboratory, the two unlikely allies embarked on a cautious dance of cultural exchange, trading knowledge and insights from their respective civilizations. Oren's probing questions about human society and scientific achievements were met with Caleb's guarded yet increasingly candid responses, the soldier's natural curiosity gradually overcoming his ingrained suspicion. As their conversations deepened, the barriers between them slowly eroded, giving way to a budding friendship built upon a shared passion for discovery and a mutual desire to bridge the chasm that divided their warring races. However, even as Caleb and Oren forged this tenuous bond, the specter of danger loomed ever closer. In the halls of the Tok-Tak military, General Zoran paced restlessly, his hawkish gaze sweeping over the holographic displays that mapped the planet's surface. The ruthless commander's instincts whispered of an unseen threat, a human presence that had somehow eluded detection. Zoran's lips curled into a predatory smile as he contemplated the potential weaknesses in the human armor, his mind already scheming to exploit them for his own advancement. With a curt nod to his most trusted subordinates, Zoran set in motion a clandestine operation to uncover the truth, his agents fanning out across the Tak-Tak homeworld in search of any sign of the intruder. As the net of suspicion tightened around them, Caleb and Oren found themselves navigating an increasingly treacherous landscape, the price of their forbidden friendship growing steeper with each passing moment. In the crucible of this high-stakes game of secrets and survival, the human soldier and the Tak-Tak scientist would soon find their dedication tested like never before, the strength of their newfound bond pitted against the implacable forces that sought to tear them apart. With the future of both their species hanging in the balance, Caleb and Oren steeled themselves for the trials ahead, knowing that the path they had chosen was one from which there could be no turning back. Caleb's heart raced as he followed Oren through the dimly lit corridors of the Tak-Tak scientific complex. The human soldier's armor hummed softly, its advanced systems constantly scanning for potential threats. Oren's antennae twitched nervously as he led the way to a secluded meeting room. "My sister Zara will be here soon," Oren whispered, his voice barely audible. "She's our best chance at protection." The door slid open with a quiet hiss, revealing a sparse chamber dominated by a large holographic display. Moments later, Zara entered, her eyes widening at the sight of the human in full battle armor. "By the stars, Oren," she gasped. "You weren't exaggerating." Caleb observed the new Tak-Tak, noting the family resemblance to Oren in her elongated features and iridescent skin. Zara's gaze swept over the human's armor, a mixture of fear and fascination evident in her expression. Oren quickly began explaining their situation, his words tumbling out in a rush of excitement and apprehension. Zara listened intently, her initial skepticism giving way to growing interest as Oren detailed the potential advancements that could be gleaned from studying human technology. "This could change everything," Zara murmured, reaching out to touch Caleb's armor. The surface shimmered beneath her fingers, adapting to her touch. "The applications for our own defenses alone." Her words were cut short by a deafening explosion. The door to the meeting room burst inward, showering the occupants with debris. Through the smoke and chaos, heavily armed Tak-Tak militants poured into the chamber, their energy weapons primed and humming with deadly intent. Time seemed to slow for Caleb as his combat training kicked in. Without hesitation, he positioned himself between Zara and the incoming fire. His armor's systems flared to life, creating a shimmering energy field that absorbed the brunt of the attack. The room erupted into a maelstrom of light and sound as energy bolts ricocheted off Caleb's protective barrier. The human soldier stood his ground, shielding both Zara and Oren from the relentless barrage. "We need to move," Caleb shouted over the din of battle. "Is there another way out?" Zara nodded, her eyes wide with shock and awe at the display of human technology. She gestured towards a concealed panel on the far wall. "Emergency exit. It leads to the lower levels." As Caleb provided cover, Oren and Zara scrambled towards the hidden escape route. The human soldier followed, his armor's enhanced strength allowing him to easily move the debris, blocking their path. The trio fled through a network of maintenance tunnels, the sounds of pursuit echoing behind them. As they emerged into a deserted laboratory complex, the gravity of their situation began to sink in. "They know you're here now," Zara said, her voice trembling. "This changes everything." Oren nodded grimly. "We need to get you off-world, Caleb. It's no longer safe for any of us here." As if in response to Oren's words, the facility's alarm systems blared to life. Holographic displays flickered into existence, showing the stern visage of General Zoran addressing the Tak-Tak population. "Citizens of the Tak-Tak Empire," Zoran's voice boomed, "a human intruder has been discovered on our homeworld. This dire threat must be neutralized at all costs. By decree of King Rekon, a planet-wide manhunt is now in effect." Caleb, Oren, and Zara exchanged grim looks as the implications of Zoran's announcement sank in. Their time was running out, and the stakes had just become exponentially higher. "We need allies," Zara said, her scientific mind already formulating plans. "I know others who will see the potential in what we've discovered. We can build a network, find a way to counter Zoran's influence." Oren nodded in agreement. "It's risky, but it may be our only chance. We'll need to move quickly and stay hidden." As the sounds of search parties grew closer, Caleb activated his armor's stealth systems. "Lead the way," he said, his voice filled with persistence. "We've got work to do." Caleb nodded grimly, his armor's stealth systems enveloping him in a shimmering field of invisibility. "Let's move," he whispered, gesturing for Oren and Zara to lead the way. The unlikely trio crept through the labyrinthine corridors of the Tok scientific complex, their hearts pounding in unison as they narrowly avoided patrolling security forces. Zara's intimate knowledge of the facility proved invaluable, guiding them through maintenance shafts and hidden passages. As they reached a secluded hangar bay, Oren's antennae twitched with nervous energy. "Our best chance is the prototype long-range scout," he explained, pointing to a sleek vessel nestled in the shadows. "It's equipped with experimental warp drive technology." Zara's eyes widened. "You can't be serious, Oren. That craft hasn't even completed its initial trials." "We don't have a choice," Caleb interjected, his voice firm. "It's our only shot at getting off-world." Working swiftly, the two Tok scientists prepared the spacecraft for launch, while Caleb stood guard, his armor's sensors sweeping the area for potential threats. The hangar bay hummed with tension as alarms blared in the distance, signaling the closing net of Zoran's forces. With a soft whine, the ship's engines sputtered to life. Oren and Zara exchanged a look of apprehension before beckoning Caleb aboard. The human soldier barely had time to secure himself before the craft lurched forward, bursting through the hangar's energy barrier and into the inky blackness of space. The comm system crackled to life, General Zoran's enraged voice filling the cockpit. "Traitors! You cannot escape the might of the Tok Empire!" A swarm of sleek, predatory ships materialized on the scanners, closing in rapidly. Oren's hands danced across the controls, pushing the experimental craft to its limits as they wove through a hail of energy blasts. "We need to buy some time," Caleb shouted over the din of battle. "Get me outside!" Zara's eyes widened in disbelief. "You can't be serious. The vacuum of space will—" "Trust me," Caleb interrupted, his voice filled with unwavering confidence. As Oren opened the airlock, Caleb launched himself into the void. His armor's systems flared to life, creating a protective bubble around him as he soared through space. With practiced precision, he maneuvered between the pursuing Tok ships, his suit's energy shields absorbing their attacks. Inside the fleeing craft, Oren and Zara watched in awe as Caleb single-handedly engaged the enemy fleet. The human's movements were a blur of grace and power, his armor's advanced weaponry carving through the Tok ships with surgical precision. "By the stars," Zara breathed, her voice filled with wonder. "I've never seen anything like it." Oren nodded, his eyes fixed on the battle unfolding before them. "This changes everything we thought we knew about human capabilities." As Caleb continued to wreak havoc among Zoran's forces, the Tok general's voice rang out once more, this time tinged with disbelief and fear. "Fall back! All ships disengage immediately!" The pursuing fleet scattered, leaving Caleb floating triumphantly amid the debris of their shattered ships. As he returned to the prototype craft, Oren and Zara's faces beamed with a mixture of relief and admiration. "We're not out of danger yet," Caleb warned as he removed his helmet. "We need to put as much distance between us and the Tok homeworld as possible." Nodding in agreement, Oren engaged the experimental warp drive. The stars outside the view screen blurred into streaks of light as they plunged into the unknown, leaving behind a wake of chaos and uncertainty. As they hurtled through the cosmos, Zara turned to her companions, her eyes gleaming with purpose. "We need to contact the human outposts," she declared. "What we've witnessed here today could be the key to ending this war." Caleb and Oren exchanged meaningful glances, the weight of their shared experience settling upon them. The human soldier's hand rested on the Tok-Tok scientist's shoulder, a gesture of solidarity that transcended the boundaries of their species. "Together," Caleb said simply, his voice filled with quiet purpose. As the experimental craft streaked towards the nearest human outpost, its unlikely crew united in purpose. The vast expanse of space stretched out before them, a canvas of infinite possibilities and untold adventures yet to come. The prototype craft hurtled through space, its experimental warp drive pushing the limits of known physics. Inside the cramped cockpit, Caleb, Oren, and Zara sat in tense silence, their eyes fixed on the interface as streaks of starlight blurred past. "ETA to the nearest human outpost?" Caleb asked, his fingers drumming nervously on the armrest of his seat. Oren's antennae twitched as he consulted the navigation system. "Approximately 17 minutes at our current velocity." Zara leaned forward, her iridescent skin reflecting the soft glow of the instrument panels. "I've been analyzing the data from your armor, Caleb. The potential applications are staggering. If we can combine this technology with our own—" Her words were cut short by a sudden, violent lurch. The ship's alarms blared to life, bathing the cockpit in pulsing red light. "What was that?" Caleb shouted, straining against his harness. Oren's hands flew across the controls, his eyes widening in horror. "We've been hit. Some kind of energy weapon, but I've never seen readings like these before." The view screen flickered, revealing a terrifying sight. A massive Tok-Tok flagship emerged from warp space directly ahead, flanked by dozens of sleek warships. At their center, the menacing form of General Zoran's personal vessel loomed large. "It's impossible," Zara whispered, her voice trembling. "How did they find us?" Caleb's mind raced, piecing together the grim reality. "They must have planted a tracker on us during the battle. We led them straight to the outpost." The comm system crackled to life, filling the cockpit with General Zoran's cold, triumphant voice. "Did you really think you could escape the might of the Tok-Tok Empire? Your foolish rebellion ends here, traitors." Another blast rocked the ship, sending sparks cascading from overloaded systems. Oren struggled with the controls, his face contorted with effort. "We've lost primary power. Life support systems failing." Caleb unstrapped himself, moving with practiced efficiency despite the chaos around him. "We need to abandon ship. Oren, Zara, get to the escape pods." As they scrambled towards the rear of the vessel, a deafening explosion tore through the hull. Zara cried out in pain as a piece of shrapnel sliced across her arm. Caleb pulled her to her feet, half carrying her towards the escape pods. "Go!" he shouted to Oren, who hesitated at the pod's entrance. "I'll get Zara to the other one." The ship shuddered again, the metal groaning under the relentless assault. Caleb pushed Zara into the second pod, his hand hovering over the launch controls. Their eyes met for a brief moment, a lifetime of unspoken emotions passing between them. "Caleb, Zara began, but her words were drowned out by the roar of the pod's thrusters igniting. As the two pods jettisoned from the doomed craft, Caleb watched in horror as a stray energy blast struck Zara's pod. The small vessel erupted in a silent explosion, scattering debris across the void of space. "No!" Oren's anguished cry echoed through the comm system. "Zara!" Caleb's pod tumbled through space, alarms blaring as it registered multiple incoming threats. Through the small viewport, he could see Zoran's flagship bearing down on them, its weapons primed for the kill. Suddenly, a familiar shape appeared in Caleb's field of vision. Oren, clad in the battle-scarred human armor, streaked towards Zoran's vessel like an avenging comet. "Oren, what are you doing?" Caleb shouted into the comm, but received only static in response. As Caleb's pod drifted helplessly in the crossfire, he watched in awe as Oren, fueled by grief and rage, launched a one-man assault on Zoran's flagship. The armor's energy shields flared brilliantly, absorbing concentrated fire from the Tok-Tok fleet as Oren carved a path of destruction towards his target. In the distance, Caleb could see the human outpost scrambling to respond, a squadron of warships emerging from its defensive perimeter. But as the titanic battle unfolded around him, Caleb knew with grim certainty that they were outmatched and outnumbered. His pod's systems flickered, damaged by the intense energy discharges surrounding it. As the viewport began to ice over, Caleb's last conscious thought was of Orin, a lone figure of light and fury amidst the chaos of battle, hurtling towards an uncertain fate.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.